Priyavata looked at his guru, Narada. Narada said, listen to the higher authority. I also listen to the word. So, but he said to Priyavata, continue in your position, even if you have to sometimes act as if you're attached. But cultivate detachment internally, so that at the right moment in the future, when you can take sannyas, there will be no obstacle. So therefore, even though it seemed as if there was a big difference of opinion, and Narada Muni deferred to higher authority, or Brahma, still the instruction he gave to Priyavata kept him prepared, waiting for the right moment in the future when he could take sannyas. So there's no conflict here, although on the surface it looks like a conflict. So therefore, sometimes there might even be a difference of opinion amongst spiritual teachers about what is the best thing to do. One must always defer to the higher authority. Now, what does that mean practically? Well, in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, the highest managerial authority in the physical absence of Srila Prabhupada is the governing body of ISKCON. Therefore, there's such a thing as ecclesiastical authority in ISKCON and managerial authority. Ecclesiastical authority is vested in the hands of gurus, sannyasis, brahmacharis, brahmacharinis, grihastas, vanaprasthas. These are all ecclesiasts, people who have a certain measure of ecclesiastical authority. Ecclesiastical authority means what? It means demonstrating following the vows of initiation with faith and determination. It means being able to correctly explain Bhagavad Gita, not with personal opinions, but whenever one makes a statement, they must be able to back it up with bona fide quotes from the Bhagavad Gita. They must be able to answer questions by referring to where that question was asked and answered previously by Krishna or Arjuna or previous acharyas. Not simply speaking, but speaking by quoting the correct authority and being able to show the person who asked the question where that answer is in the Shastra. That's all called ecclesiastical authority. And managerial authority is vested in the hands of governing body, secretaries, temple president, temple officers, vice president, treasurer. They have managerial authority. The managerial authority supersedes the ecclesiastical authority, as long as the managers also are following the regulative principles, chanting, everything. Supersede, because this is the difference between the International Society of Krishna Consciousness and chaos. Chaos, everybody has his own authority, everybody has his own temple, everybody follows their own way of doing things, and if you don't like it, well, you go start your own temple, do your own thing. But International Society of Krishna Consciousness has many gurus, many sannyasis, many temples, but it's held together by the managerial authority. Even the gurus are obliged to follow. They do not, their words do not supersede the managerial authority. This is what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted. This is what Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada established. Even though the other followers of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not do this. As soon as he disappeared, they reverted back to the traditional model that doesn't work, of every guru has his own mat, his own temple, and he's his own authority, and his word is the final word. Because of that, the dynamic growth of Hinduism was stunted. And it comes up to today also, where it's stunted. Like, you have a numerical majority in India, but they can't have a really pure Hindu dharmic government, because everybody's divided, and then the Muslims end up being the arbiter of every election in India. Because the Hindus are completely divided. Everybody has his own opinion. Everybody has his own little sectarian movement going on. And they're all fighting with each other or competing with each other rather than cooperating. Same thing can happen in the International Society of Krishna Consciousness if the ecclesiastical authority supersedes the managerial authority. Same thing can happen. So, one must confirm the inner prompting that they feel in Krishna intrinsically or instinctively with the spiritual master or spiritual authority. Just like I can have a dream, and in my dream, I see Krishna speaking to me. He says, "Kill your wife tomorrow morning." I wake up in a sweat and I said, "Oh my God, Krishna told me." I saw him. He had the peacock feather on, and he was smiling, and he said, "Kill your wife." But if you read this, 18th chapter, 58th verse, the end of the purport, but a person who acts in Krishna consciousness is free to act because everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. So that person said, "Oh, I just read that purport. Let me call up Hari Vilas and confirm if I should kill my wife or not." So he calls me. He said, "Prabhu, I just had a dream last night. Krishna told me to kill my wife. What should I do?" "Don't do it." "Why not? Krishna told me himself." That was not Krishna. That was some imagination in your dream. "But I thought the dreams are also valid." Some dreams are and some dreams aren't. This is one that's not. So don't do it. But someone can argue, "Yeah, but Krishna told Arjuna to kill Karna, his own brother." Yes, that's true. But he was standing in front of Arjuna. The Krishna you saw was in your dream. And therefore it has to be confirmed. Otherwise, you could commit a major sinful activity on the basis of a dream. So, this is very important. Everything is prompted by Krishna from within and confirmed by the spiritual master. Otherwise, there will be complete chaos. So the gopis got a direct instruction from Krishna: do not hide your nakedness, walk in front of me naked, put your hands above your head, and in the prayer for position, and then I'll give you clothing. Well, they could have speculated, oh, this is a dharmic activity. The woman should never be naked in front of anyone except her husband, and that also in private. This is a public place from the bank of the Yamuna. And he stole our clothing. We didn't give it to him. He stole the clothing. So, therefore, we don't have to follow his instruction. Yeah, they could have thought like that, and it would have seemed reasonable. Just like every reason Arjuna gave Krishna why he didn't want to fight the battle of Kurukshetra seemed reasonable, and much of it was based on some kind of Vedic statements. But that's not Paro Dharma. That's not the superior Dharma. That's inferior Dharma. Because Krishna's word is Paro Dharma. If Krishna says, do this, and we don't do it, then we're like Yudhisthira. We commit a sinful activity. Yudhisthira refused to follow Krishna's order exactly. Krishna said, shout out on the battlefield that Asvatthama is dead. This will discourage Drona and we'll be able to. He refused to do it. But Krishna kept insisting. And finally he said, okay, I'll do it. Asvatthama, my elephant, is dead. So he didn't want to do it completely, as Krishna said. That was a sinful activity. that was disregarding, disobeying Krishna's direct order. Therefore, he had to suffer for it. He had to go to hell and see his brothers suffering in hell. And then he went to heaven and he saw Duryodhana sitting on a throne next to Indra. Because he didn't follow Krishna's order. So, Krishna's order is Parodharma. Now, someone can say, oh my God, this sounds really dangerous. What Haridas says, Krishna's order is we should go out and slaughter all the Muslims. No, Krishna has given his order in Bhagavad Gita already. So no one can speculate what Krishna's order is. Krishna's order is 18th chapter, 70. Tasman manusyesu kaschit me priyakita pavita nachane tasmat anya priyataro bhuvi. 18th chapter, 69th verse. Actually 68 and 69th verse. Ya idam paramam dunyam adbhakti satyasya bhaktir mai param pritva mam ivaisasya samsaya nachatasma manusyesu kaschit me priyakita for one who explains the supreme secret, meaning Bhagavad Gita, to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. Now you can understand why the first book Prabhupada translated was the Bhagavad Gita, and why he has distributed through his disciples over 100 million Bhagavad Gitas throughout the world. And all of his books over 500 million. That means Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Shrimati Bhakti Swami Tikinam. That his divine grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Shiva was very dear to Krishna. Very dear to Krishna. Because he is spreading this message of Krishna all over the world. Well, he's doing exactly Krishna's order to Arjuna 5,000 years ago. There's no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So this is our order also. It's the order that Prabhupada has given us. Distribute his books, establish these temples, and explain Bhagavad Gita as it is, not as I wish it to be, not as I want it to be, not as it might be better if it was like this, but as it is. Because someone who hears Bhagavad Gita yata rup, as it is, at the end they come to the same conclusion as Arjuna. Karishya vachanam tava. Whatever you say, Krishna, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to speculate anymore. So, and then Arjuna becomes his sincere devotee. Therefore it says, Shadavan anasuyas cha shinuyad apiyo nara sopimukta sabalokan prapnuyat punya karma. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So, we'll stop right there. That's why the gopis are the greatest devotees of Lord Krishna, because they listen exactly to what he says. They don't speculate, they just follow what he says. They have full faith in Krishna. Even though what he asked them to do looked like it was wrong, but because they're in an age of parodharma, pure love of Krishna, it was not wrong. If it was pure love for Saddam Hussein, then it would be wrong, what they did. Or pure love for Michael Jackson, or pure love for who knows who, it would be wrong. But pure love for Krishna, acting out of pure love for Krishna, it's never wrong, it's always right. But it must be confirmed by the spiritual authority. So we'll stop right there. Any questions anyone would like to ask? Yes, one question. Yes,
The distribution of this Bhagavad Gita in America, most people don't have anything Bhagavad Gita. People are drinking. Most people drink beer and all this, all this kind of things.
question. Answers Bhagavad Gita. What is one of the offenses, aparadhs of the holy name is to instruct the glories of the holy name to non-devotees. Right? People are not interested. However, there's a very beautiful purport where Prabhupada explains it's in the 12th chapter. I'm sorry. 3rd chapter, 29th verse. 3rd chapter, 29th verse, where it says, but the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord, because they understand the purpose of the Lord. Consequently, they undertake all kinds of risks, even to the point of approaching ignorant men to try to engage them in the acts of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for the human being. Men who are ignorant cannot appreciate activities in Krishna consciousness, and therefore Lord Krishna advises us not to disturb them and simply waste valuable time. But the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord, because they understand the purpose of the Lord. Consequently, they undertake all kinds of risks, even to the point of approaching ignorant men to try to engage them in the acts of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for the human being. Does that answer your question? It is an offense to instruct the holy name, the glories of the holy name to faithless persons. But if you're expert enough, now if you're not expert enough, don't do it, because you'll just agitate them and they'll insult Krishna. But if you're expert enough, you'll be able to present even to the worst person some aspect of Krishna consciousness, and they will appreciate it, and that will be the beginning of their spiritual life. If you're not expert enough, don't do it, because you cause them to blaspheme Krishna. But if you're expert enough, you can do it. You take a risk. Preaching is always a risk. Therefore, you have to be trained how to present Krishna consciousness. You shouldn't assume that you're an expert. You should be trained by experts how to present it. And then, if you follow properly, then you become expert also. If you just speculate on your own and think you're an expert, then you make a big mess of it, and you produce the opposite effect. You turn people away rather than bring them. Any other questions?
Very nice question. According to calendar, today is disappearance day of Lochan Das Thakur. Please say a few words about him.
Lochan Das Thakur has written a wonderful book about Lord Chaitanya. He's also written wonderful bhajans.
Is Lochan Das or Narottam Das?
Lochan Das. Not Narottam. Lochan Das.
Yeah, he's written very nice bhajans, and one wonderful book revealing a lot of precious information about Lord Chaitanya. So you can read that book. ISKCON has that book, and you can chant his bhajans today, where he's expressing deep feelings of love for Lord Chaitanya. Okay, we stop right there. Thank you very much.
Hare
Srila Prabhupada
Ki Jai.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Vilas Prabhu Hari Hari Bol. ISKCON Phoenix Ki Jai.